Okay, Mike.
How you doing?
Cheltenham at the weekend. Just to more or less the same thing to Ollie. They haven't made a great start to the season, but we know they had a cracking campaign last time around, and you'd expect them to be in and around the top of the division this time. So it's going to be a tough old test for you.
Yes, I think any game at these levels, it's always going to be tough. You know, Cheltenham had a good season last season, got to the playoffs, so you've got to give them that respect. But we know what we need to do. We've watched them. We know our game plan and what we're working to. But like I said, they've been in the playoffs, so they're no mugs, and they'll be looking to do the same again. But sometimes you can get a little bit of hangover from the playoffs. I've seen it done before, but we won't be thinking that. We know we've got to be at our best, as you always do in this league, to pick up points. You've seen that last week with the Mansfield game. You've got to work for everything that you get in this game.
And a first victory this season, you know, we've only had one league game, and you're unfortunate to lose in the EFL Cup game, in the Cup match. But the sooner you get that first victory, the better, isn't it? Because it just gives you a little bit of impetus.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've had 3 draws so far. Obviously, we lost the 2 cup games on the penalties. But obviously, for any group of players, especially a new group of players that are coming together, when you're trying to bed them in, every win gives you that little boost. That's just like the psychological side of it, and as well as for the group itself. And the group are working really hard towards that. We've had a great week this week. We've been able to get on the training ground of a full week's training. We've added a few more players to the group, which obviously freshens things up as well. So we're in the right place. We know we need to improve in all areas, and we're always trying to improve. And that's the mantra of what we want to try and do.
Tell us a little bit then about your new signings in Kane Woolery and Liam Feeney.
Yeah.
Starting off with Kane.
Kane, obviously, I think I said this the other day, he ruined my summer one year when he beat us at Forest Green. So I'll never forgive him for that. But now he's ours. We've tried to sign him a few times over the last couple of seasons. It hasn't worked out for one reason or another. But he's very, very quick, direct. He's got a good pedigree in regards of he's won promotions before, which is always good. So have a player in your building who knows what it's like to be in a promotion team. And our aim this season is to be going for those sort of places, and that's a credit to him for doing that. But obviously he's our player now, and we want to make sure we get him up to speed, because at the moment he's probably 2 to 3 weeks away from actually getting some game time, because the boy hasn't trained. He's trained at home, so we've got to be really careful with him, because he's a powerful boy, and if you try and get too much too soon from him, you could get him injured. So we're a little bit with an eye on that, but we want to try and get him ready and involved with the group as soon as we can.
And Liam, I mean, he was Blackpool's player of the season, I think, last time around.
Yeah, Liam gives us something a little bit different. Liam's obviously, you have to look at his assists from last year. He'll give us that bit of calmness, I think, and experience in that final third. Sometimes in that final third it can be too rushed, and I think he'll give us that little bit of calmness in there. And obviously his quality on them, on his deliveries into the box, because you need to try and get them balls in the box to actually make people defend.
You get the feeling that the forwards, particularly somebody like James Vaughan, would really benefit from what he can bring.
Yes, definitely. I think certain strikers, a lot of strikers, at the end of the day, they thrive on service to actually getting in positions to score goals. So that's something we've been working on this week. Obviously, Liam's only just joined us this week, or today. So to try and get him up to speed straight away. But we need them connections with your players, especially like Vaughan. He thrives off balls in the box, and that's what we want to try and do. For all strikers, they need service, and that's what we've been working hard to do this week.
And I know Tranmere aren't involved in this weekend, but we've got this the new sort of pilot of up to 1,000 fans being allowed in grounds. How excited are you by the prospect of maybe that happening at Tranmere in the not too distant?
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Honestly, it'd be so good. We've been speaking about it all the time, to have the fans back in the ground and to get that connection with them again. We've missed them a lot. To let them see the players. It'd be fantastic for us if we can do that. I know it's been a short notice, and I've heard a lot about you had a couple of hours to try and say you can do it. I think that's to try and turn that around. It's a big thing with obviously what's going on. But honestly, it'd be brilliant, because I think, especially here, your home games with fans here, it's a different prospect altogether for teams coming and visiting you. Your home form's massive, and it proved that time in League Two, and when we were in non-league, that fortress of your home ground is really important to the players to actually kick them on.
And especially at the start of the season, because everybody has this pent-up emotion from a fan's perspective, and the same for the players and the managers.
Yes.
It's the start of a new season, it's a new dawn, the slate's wiped clean, we want to do this, we want to do that.
Yeah.
And to not have fans there at the start, it's almost criminal, isn't it?
It is. I understand why it's happened. I understand all that, but it's just, I've said before, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right because you'll be in a game at home and the fans will be with you. The players get an extra lift from that. They go with the game, you know what I mean? You could have a couple of corners and you're pinning people into that cop end and you pin people back, and the players get another burst of energy from that. At the moment, that isn't there. So that's a big thing that I think the players have found difficult. I think all players have, because players want to play in front of crowds. That's what you play for. You don't play, otherwise you just play in the park with your mates. That's the part of being a footballer.
And you've got your new service at Prenton Park. I've only seen pictures of it. I've not been able to see it in the flesh as yet. But Tranmere have had a poor pitch for a long, long time. And there are reasons for that.
Yes.
And there are factors behind it.
Yeah.
But having a new service, you just wonder how many points that could be worth in the long run. Because you're a team of footballers. Tranmere have always done that. Yes,
they've always had an identity of that, of trying to play football. So the pitch is obviously going to help. There's a lot of investment gone into that, so we've got to use that as a positive. But I honestly think the biggest thing for us is them fans. I think the pitch is brilliant, and we're proud to be able to play on it. But it's them fans that really make the big difference for me, and the pitch helps as well, obviously.
Great, that's fine for me. Good
no
luck
problem.
For Saturday.
All right, thanks very much.
Mike, I'll have to get better at second guessing you, because when I spoke to you the other week about bringing a few more faces in, I got the impression it was to bolster the numbers of your squad. But these are pretty impressive signings, really. These people aren't here to make the numbers up, are they?
I just want to keep you guessing. I don't want you to know what I'm thinking. You know, I think you're trying to play a game with me, so I'm on you now. I'm on to you. The good calibre of signings. That's what we want. We've set out to do that. We've set out to try and bring the best players we can for this club, for the team, for the fans, and try and give them a team that they can be proud of. We've said that from the start, and I think that's something that's while I've ever been here as a coach and a manager, we're always trying to do that, to bring the best people we can in. So we're delighted with these two signings. They give us something extra in that final third, a competition for places, a hunger as well, because they want to be successful. When I've spoke to the two of them, they've come across really well. Good trainers, good people, and it fits in with what we're trying to do here.
Right the way through the push back through non-league football, the team was packed full of people who'd won promotions, big characters who demanded the best out of each other, and it looks to me like that's the sort of squad you've assembled here already. Is that fair?
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. I think as a manager and a coaching staff, we're here to try and influence this group in the right way, but obviously we want them to take responsibility, and that helps with the experience they've got and the experience of actually being successful, because that stays with you. When you've had a promotion, I found as a player and as a coach, that goes very quickly and you want the next one. You move to the next thing, and I think there's players here who want that, who are still ambitious to get that sort of thing. You always want players. Mick used to stay last year, always used to players with ambition. That always something that stuck in my head that I learned from him. You want players with ambition, so that's what we're trying to bring in.
We won't dwell too long on Kane's most notable achievement, but since he's come in, has he had much stick off the likes of Scotty and Wright, not to mention yourself?
No, he's been all right. He's a humble guy. He's been working really hard with Odgie, the fitness coach, trying to make sure that he's ready to join. He joined in a little bit with us today. So no, I think I've not been in the dressing room with him. I don't know if they've given him a bit of stick. I think they'll be delighted that he's on their team now. So no, it's all been good.
There was no Corey or Morgan last week. What's the latest on their fitness situation?
Yeah, Corey is still a good few weeks away with a hamstring injury. Ferrier as well. Morgan he had a slight hamstring, which we're trying to get him. He's ahead of Corey at this stage, so we're monitoring him. Maddie's working hard with the group and Stokesy, trying to make sure that we try and get him back as soon as we can.
You spoke just a little bit earlier about Kane's fitness might not be exactly where you want it at the moment.
Yeah.
Would that rule him out for the weekend, or is he in contention?
No, I think we've got to be really careful with him. I think he's not had any training for now for probably 7 months. He's done all his own training at home, but that can't replicate playing football. So we have to make sure we manage him and try and get him available as soon as we can, but safely. Because the last thing we want to do with someone who's that powerful is to risk of hamstring strains and things like that. We've got to build him up slowly. So he might be a bit away yet. I know everyone wants him to play now, and I do, and the fans do, but I'm trying to make sure we look after the guy and make sure when he's ready to go, he's ready. Same with Liam. Liam's probably not played for nearly 3 weeks now, but he has been training. So we've got to have a little look at that as well, walking towards the weekend.
You've been honest enough to say that you want to see more in the last third of the pitch, but if we assess that Mansfield game in terms of what's required in this league week and week, that ability to dig in, work for the nil and stay in games, that appears to be already there in place.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. I think there's certain games where it'll be more of a football match, and there'll be certain games where it'll be more of a fight and a graft and that grit and that grind, which you have to be able to do in this league, because I can't stop a goalkeeper from their team whacking it down the pitch. I can't stop a long throw-in. Them things, you just have to be good at them. You have to see that as part of the game and adapt to that. And the group worked hard for that clean sheet the other day. They worked hard for the clean sheet at Port Vale. We know we need to be better going forward, but that's something we keep working on. Again, we've got these attacking players now that haven't had a chance to work together. A couple injuries, a couple have missed out a couple of games, a couple of new boys coming in. So it takes a bit of time, but we're working towards that. We know where we need to improve, and the lads know that. They're honest guys. They know, but it's not. I don't like to put it on strikers, and I think it goes hand in hand. The service they get, then it's them looking after it in the final third when it does come into them. Is the quality good enough into them? And then when it comes into them, they need that quality themselves in them positions, because that's what you're trying to do. So we're all working, we're all on the same page, and we really want to try and improve the whole thing, not just that.